I'm from Vietnam, so I came over to the United States in 1975 during the war. I was 7 years old at that time. So my family migrated to the United States as refugees. And during the years, I have one brother and 4 sisters. So all 6 of us are very professional people in the United States. So we were very blessed to come to the United States to do this. Somehow, I always liked martial art movies. I always liked fighting. And so my dad decided to put me into a martial arts school. I was 10 years old. When I started Taekwondo, from there, I just developed into becoming a fighter, becoming into the sport of Taekwondo and to compete. So I was the very first Vietnamese to be on the US Olympic team in 1988 in Seoul, Korea. I've been practicing Taekwondo for years, but my passion has always been in finance. So in 1988, after the Olympics, when I came back, some of the Olympians were invited to see President George Bush Sr. at that time in Cincinnati, Ohio. And I was one of the ones who answered, and they vetted to see who he wants to put next to him, and I was chosen to be one of the person to be on his parade. And I stood next to him during the parade throughout the Cincinnati, and it made it the headline news, and it was a big event. So even in Vietnam, they saw that paper, and I was received highly in the Vietnamese newspaper as well, to say he was the first Vietnamese to make the US Olympic team. So that was a very big deal. They did the whole story on me on NBC Sports, Olympic, highlight athletes, things like that. So they followed me to Korea to do the fights, see how my family, we own a restaurant, so how we operated, things like that. So it was a very honored situation at that time. So Vietnam is my heritage, but the United States is my home. After Taekwondo, my career in Taekwondo, I went into finance. And one of the things that I've always been good at is finding individual companies that I perceive as a very good value or as a very good type of business. So I've always had a knack for that kind of stuff. Coming from, again, leaving Vietnam in 1975 to America, I never thought ever in my life that I would be back in Asia doing anything. I really never traveled across the sea. I mean, I went to the Caribbean islands, I went to Hawaii, I went to Europe. I never went to Asia for any reason whatsoever. There was no desire to go back to Asia at all. So a few years ago, when I discovered the EHang through watching on the NASDAQ on TV on CNBC, I noticed this company and I started researching it. Well, after researching it, I thought, wow, could be a revolutionary idea for the world because of the travel, because of how congested things are. But again, that was in theory. So thought the theory was amazing. I thought that the business could be amazing. So then I started invest a little bit in EHang. I made a trip to China about 4 years ago. I actually went to EHang to make sure it's real. The idea of having a drone to fly people for a taxi service and to be safe was something that a lot of people did not believe. So I started investing because the idea was phenomenal, but I need to make sure it was real before I really put a large amount of my clients' money into it. So after coming to Guangzhou, to China, to visit EHang, I was able to fly in it. I was able to sit in it. I was able to feel it. I was able to see it. So EHang, again, this is a whole new mode of transportation. One of the toughest decisions in holding an investment is to understand that this investment is truly something that's needed around the world. Coming here to China, coming here to Bangkok, coming here to different parts of the world, there is such a need for transportation. And it's not just any transportation. When you go from the airport to the city and it's taking you 2 to 3 hours and it's sitting in the traffic, and we can do it in 10 minutes, so this is a necessity. This is why I am heavily invested, because I think there's a real value in doing this. This is not just a fun thing. This is a needed thing. There's so much congestion around the world that with this mode of transportation, we can alleviate the traffic. We can also produce a situation where people can get there much faster. Because my model for my new Pharm company, Aerial Sea Venture, to create this business in Asia our motto is travel is no longer measured in hours, but minutes. We have reduced the travel time from hours to minutes. This will save people travel time, business. Also, it also can save lives. because we also have the opportunity to, for medical purposes, to somebody has a heart attack on one of these islands. So it could save lives. So we have, for example, if you were in an island, you had a heart attack, you're on vacation. They're not equipped in a lot of these islands to handle the medical. It takes an hour and a half to 2 hours on a boat to get you to the main island. By that time, you might be dead. We can transport you in literally less than 10 minutes, 12 minutes. So the future of this is so big that we can use it for more mode of things than just transportation. We can have it as an emergency system. We can have it as transport. If there was a major flood around the world where supplies need to be sent to people, these drones can send food, supply, medical stuff. So it is more than just transportation. Seeing the opportunity is unbelievable. But again, opportunity is also the journey. So most investor or most visionary, we are always drawn to the journey of that, creating something that we can leave as our legacy in the world. So building the legacy of bringing something that is a new generation or a new technology or a new product, to be able to bring that to the world, to be able to come to and look around and say, wow, you know, I'm part of that movement, I'm part of that. It's always an excitement for entrepreneurs and also visionaries. So coming to Asia, I missed the fact that number one, the food is fantastic, the weather is fantastic, the living cost is extremely low compared to the United States, but it's also the excitement of the people over here. So the energy of Asia is exciting, is amazing, because everything is driven. The people are driven, the companies are driven, so much excitement, so much potential in Asia. That's why I decided that I want to take a leap of faith, focus on Asia to bring this new technology to the world and to right now Southeast Asia. So we have many potential future, many partners, many aligned with our same vision. When you come to Southeast Asia, there are many islands. There are many resort spots that are the distance it has to be required by a boat. But I can tell you that the seas are rough and the distance is long. So this is something that I saw, wow, this is a must that we gotta have. We have to be able to go to these islands within 10 to 15 minutes or 12 minutes, not 2 hours. The rides are rough. You can get seasick. You can, there's all kinds of stuff that can go on. And I think when we have this mode of transportation, I think that no one's gonna say no. Everybody's going to be lining up to go to back and forth. And remember, most of these places also, when they get their supplies and their food and their products, they only come once a day when the ship actually goes there. So with us, with the creation of this business, we will be able to supply food, every hour if we want to, every 30 minutes. So having the system of EHang in the logistics and as well as passenger, we are able to supply every island throughout Southeast Asia with quick, responsive delivery. Because right now, let's say most cases, they're getting delivered once or twice every 2 days, maybe every 3 days when the ship comes there with the supplies. With our delivery drone from EHang, we can deliver it literally in 10 minutes. So you can literally call in, place your order, and we can fly right to you in less than an hour. So now there's no more worry about supply issues or timing issues. You can have it anytime you want. So matter of distance, matter of timing is going to be very important in the future. I think destiny or the word destined is not for everyone. But if it was meant to be, everything is aligned, everything it comes together. My first meeting with DG in Thailand was in a meeting in Singapore.
Was in Singapore, right?
Yeah, Singapore back in, I think, June or July. At that time, the first time we talked to each other, literally within 5 minutes, we had the same vision. When leaders or when visionaries are put together, it's an instant connection. There is, if we say this, we agree. If we say this, we agree. Because of that, this was destined to happen with his help or with his vision, because he also wanted this to happen for the country of Thailand at the same time that we met. Again, you can call it fate, you can call it destiny, but regardless of what it is, the energy of the synergies have been aligned. Because of that, everything was moved into hyperspeed. We go from ordering one drone to getting the regulatory to sandbox, to just sandbox means we're flying in that area only. And this is the way that we can accomplish the task of having commercialization in a certain area rather than having a national policy. You can take your time with the national policy. All we need to do is specific area. Because of that, we're able to fly from really a couple months to now to almost ready to fly passengers. And we've already fly passenger in Bangkok right now, in the main cities, in around big buildings, in around to prove safety of our product. So now with that event happening now, we are almost ready, maybe months, maybe a month or two, maybe less than a month, we are ready to put passenger on for a true flight for commercialization. So this is how fast it's moving. And after talking to him, we are ready. I have my investors ready. We are prepared to now to get these drones to come here. We have a target of over 100 drones in Thailand by next symposium meeting, where he hosts one of the biggest events in the eVTOL business around the world. Everybody will come to Thailand. We will show them that Thailand will be the first hub to really go full-fledged commercialization in these locations, in these sandbox area. So it's a very exciting thing, and literally, you're right, it's months. It took us months to do this, but only because everybody had the same vision. Everybody had the same alignment. That's why it works. And the excitement in Thailand is unbelievable. And so what we do in Thailand, we can repeat in every Southeast Asia countries and basically around the world. So this is a very exciting thing to bring EHang here, because it's so well adopted that, again, the world will be filled with the skies of EHangs. People don't know yet, but it's going to happen. So one of our purpose in Southeast Asia is to develop this transportation system using EHang. But because of that, we also have to create the landing space. We have to create what we call veriports. So veriports are basically mini airports around the city. It is very important to connect the city. Just imagine as a transportation hub, if you had the railroads, if you have the rail cars, if you have underground system, there's a track that goes throughout the city, and it goes certain time and things like that. Well, we are creating the track in the air. So imagine us having a railway system in the air. Because of that, we have to have places to land. So by creating the veriport with the help of CHCC, they will be able to build out the veriport system throughout every country in Southeast Asia. Having that partnership was, number one, amazing to get the partnership, because that allowed us to build out the infrastructure throughout Asia, Southeast Asia. Now, why is that important? Because we can go to the size. So one of the most important things about EHang to differentiate really from everybody else is our size. We can land, we weigh a little bit over 700 pounds, where most other eVTOL companies are producing these big planes and stuff, quite heavy, 7,000 to 9,000 pounds. I could take our craft and basically create a veriport by just the landing pad. Every building here in Bangkok or anybody in South Asia, as long as it had a flat rooftop, we can land, because we're small and we deliver 2 people at a time. So therefore, we are very efficient. If you have a definition of a true air taxi, you can't be an air taxi unless you have a lot of places to land and you can be able to travel around throughout the city quickly. That is the difference between us that separate us from everybody else. A 7,000, 9,000 plane is not going to be able to land on top of a building, but a 700-pound can. A lot of difference. First of all, if we are to have a true transportation system, for example, if tomorrow I get a call from the Prime Minister of Thailand and say, we want to implement a 1,000 drone system, travel system in Bangkok, we can do it. Why? Because our system allows us to control many drones in one hub. If somebody else, if they want 1,000 drone, they have to hire 1,000 pilots. How are you able to expand, try to hire and train 1,000 pilots for one area? It's impossible. And plus, with our system, again, is a preset route, is a protected route that only thing there is only EHang fly back and forth. Every route is predetermined, preset. So it's just like having a subway system in the air. When you do that, everything will be on time. Everything will be operated efficiently. And again, from a central hub rather than 1,000 different pilots. And the other difference is, where does the error most of the time happen? Like the DG says, 70% of the error is caused by human error on flight. If we take that out, then our safety is unbelievable at this point. the factor is tremendous when we talk about safety. So having the system, we will tell the regulators where we're going, what time we're going, how we're doing it, and you can't really say that with a pilot. A pilot takes control in the air, they can go anywhere they want, technically. Okay, we can't. We have to go only one route, and that's only a specific route. And when we talk about in the city, the human error, what if somebody accidentally run into a building? Okay, because in the city, there's a lot of high-rise building. Well, we've taken that factor out by having autonomous. Our drone don't miss its line. If it goes this direction, it's only going that direction. If it stops here, it stops here. It is pre-programmed. Our drone can't run into a building. It's impossible. That cannot happen. A pilot can accidentally go forward and run into the building. Once we send the go in command for our drone, it completes its mission without anybody touching anything or changing anything. This is why autonomous matters in the future. I think Mr. Hu is so brilliant because, number one, when I first met Mr. Hu, and I'm an American, I come over and I tell Mr. Hu and say, why is your aircraft so small? Why don't you have a four-seater? Everybody has a four-seater. You don't have a four-seater. Why do you only have a two-seater? Why is it so little and why is it so light? I'm used to, in America, we want everything big. Mr. Hu said, no. If you want to have a taxi, you need the size that matters. You have to have a fit places in cities and in things. Well, it took for a while for me to really understand that. As an operator, I've come to know that the size of the plane matter because, again, we need to know where we can land. The price of it matters because we need to make a profit. So all these factors are so important that after talking to Mr. Hu, I now get it. So as a visionary, he saw that way ahead of time, where this American boy was telling him, wait, you should build me a four-seater or six-seater. Okay, where am I going to go with it? It's not going to fit anywhere. So the only place I could go is maybe from airport to airport, or maybe a big vertiport that's being built one spot downtown. Well, the idea of air taxis is to be able to go multiple locations within the city. And we have to fly around these buildings, again, because of autonomous, that safety is there. Well, I have to prove to the regulators how I'm going to send 100 pilots in one city. I don't know how you can do that. I think for me, Mr. Hu with the autonomous thinking and then the DG with the autonomous, they are the brilliant one. They have the idea. It took me as becoming an operator to see that. I didn't see that until now. Okay, they already saw that. Mr. DG, he saw this, he thought about this 12 years ago. And as soon as I mentioned about autonomous, he already know that's the way to go. So his vision was already there. Mr. Hu was already there. But for me and the rest of the world, the one thing about analysts that have talked about EHang versus the other company is that they actually think that autonomous is our weakness. Because they're so used to one way, which is having a pilot, that they actually think that autonomous is the weakness of EHang. And in reality, it is the most strengthful of all the situation. But how do you find that out? When we go into operations. That's when you really find out who is the strength and who is the weakness. From the CAAT, from the regulators, you will find out from them what is the strength and what is the weakness. It's easier for them to regulate an autonomous system than it is to let pilots go wherever they want. And if you look at recent news, and I hate to say it, but if you look at all these flight lately with everybody that having these accidents, it's all because of pilots. That is the real world. That is the real situation. So until you are in the real situation, to those guys is a theory. Okay, but I will tell you now that with regulators, autonomous will be the future. And I'm sure every other major drone company will try to follow that. With the support of the Director General here in Thailand, and with the support of the country to really produce this travel system throughout Asia, I am now convinced that we will now be fast forward in all the situation for commercialization. So one of the conversations with him is that if we have location, for example, we are actually testing commercial for each new location. We already have 13 locations already discovered, already in process to do. Our goal is to have 20. But if we have 13, we're going to need at least 5 to 10 drones per location. So to get 100 drones is nothing. And we are prepared and we are ready. So we are ready to actually do the potential purchase order here very soon because we have to. It takes time for us to get delivery. So we hope that EHang can deliver it fast to us. Because as the regulation in China also becomes a mature, every province in China, I feel, will start ordering, will start to come out and get the system in place, because we are on the last hurdle in China. In China, we're waiting for the regulation of the pilot's certification. Once that is done, they're ready to go. So I need to order first. So I might order 100, I might order 200 first, because I want to make sure I get my drone before they do. Because once the big orders come in, then we are stuck. So we want to make sure that EHang takes care of us out here in the global market. In EHang stock, there's a lot of misunderstood about what this business is. Okay, this is aviation. The main driver for aviation is really the regulations. Regulation is not easy, whether it be China, whether it be Thailand, whether it be Vietnam, Malaysia, anywhere around the world, the FAA in the United States, even that is taking a long time. Because this is such a new policy that everybody has to figure out what to do, including the CAA, including the FAA, including every regulator out there. It said, we want the number one thing for passenger. When they get into the drone or the plane or whatever it is, they want to make sure that this is safe. So our number one priority is the safety for the people. Because of that, we make sure we ask 10,000 questions, okay? And until we get those answers, we can't fly. So now we are at the cusp. We are almost at the cusp of finishing up the regulation, because we've had enough time in the last 12 years to figure this out in China. And in the rest of Southeast Asia, building on what China has already done, we are now completing the process. So for the investor, this is the cusp of the next generation of travel. It's like in America, we watched a movie called The Jetsons. It is becoming a reality where we will travel from one place to another in the air. So this is now coming a reality. We are so close. But when the investor have to realize that, they may think that the process has been slow, it's actually quite fast. Because in aviation, again, safety matters. So as an investor, I want to know that if you step into that plane or if you step into that drone, that you are safe. And you want to know that we've done everything to make sure that you are safe. So because we are at the cusp, this is such an undervalued company that I think the world will eventually see. But I understand the concern, because until we become commercialization, that fear is always going to hang out. Is it a real investment? Is it really going to work? Because I am here becoming an operator, I've flown in the drone, I understand the safety, I know myself that this is the future. Okay, so I am in it in the future. It's like Tesla in the beginning. In the beginning, nobody wanted to buy an electric car. Like, what's an electric car? It takes an hour and a half, who's going to buy it? Well, the one that believed was Elon Musk. He was the visionary. He believed in it. He believed that he's going to put his money, he's going to put his drive into it and just keep going until it works. No different than Mr. Hu in China. He is the visionary. I am the one that is actually implementing some of the system, but I see their vision. I see that I will see in the next few years, we will see thousands of drones flying in Southeast Asia, thousands and thousands. Why? Because the system works, because the safety is there, and the necessity is needed. This is a need, not something that is just a want. Okay, this is a necessary especially for travel. My goal, again, for my investors, and not just my investor, but my family. So I consider my investors my family. They, in the last few years, we've been up and down all over the place because the company is building. The fundamentals are all being developed right now. Once the fundamentals is done, then the sky's the limit. So right now, for investors, they have to realize that it took time, and again, it takes education, because people have to know what this is. So the more people know what it is and why it's going to function, then I think more bigger and bigger investors will come in. But the patience will pay us off. So my goal to doing this business also, is I want EHang to be at least a $10 billion market cap to a $15 billion market cap in the next few years. And how do we get there? We get there because we are building out the infrastructure. Okay, so you're talking 100. If you are asking me the price, maybe my target is between $100 to $150 a share. Why? Is it reasonable? Yes. Archer and Joby, if we compare to the other factor on the valuation, they already there at $14 billion, and they haven't even gotten to where we are yet. So is it possible to go there? Very possible. But it's only possible when the when the investors out there in the market realize that, wow, this system really is going to work. This system is really going to be viable, and this system is going to be all around the world. That is the key to investments. The time is now. The future is now. That saying is very important because the future is now. Okay, and you will see, the world will see this implementation of the system, and you will see that when you're flying up there, when you see these drones flying, that is, number one, it took us this long, or it took us this time because we want to make sure that it's safe for everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.